Boeing, the American aviation giant, is in trouble. Big trouble. They're shutting down factories, they're laying off workers, 14,000 of them to be exact. That's 14,000 people suddenly facing unemployment, families struggling to make ends meet, communities reeling from the economic shockwaves. It's a gut punch to the American workforce, and it's got Donald Trump seeing red. The axe is falling across America. Boeing is closing 5 plants in total. Locations once bustling with activity will fall silent. The skills and experience of thousands of workers disregarded. These closures are a stark reminder of the human cost of corporate decisions. For the workers facing unemployment, it's a time of immense uncertainty and fear. How did Boeing, a titan of industry, find itself in this mess? The answer is a cocktail of financial mismanagement and external pressures. The company has been hemorrhaging money, losing billions of dollars. The once mighty aerospace giant is now grappling with a mountain of debt. Something had to give. And sadly, that something turned out to be the livelihoods of thousands of workers. Adding fuel to the fire, Boeing has been locked in bitter disputes with its workforce. Machinists, the backbone of Boeing's production line, went on strike, demanding better pay and benefits. The strike crippled Boeing's operations, further deepening their financial woes. The company argued that it simply couldn't afford the workers' demands. The workers argued that they deserved a fair share of the profits they helped generate. Something had to give. And it did, but not in the way anyone had hoped. Section 5. A new sheriff in town. Enter Dave Calhoun, Boeing's new CEO. He's got a reputation for being a tough operator, a no-nonsense kind of guy. He took over the reins with a promise to turn things around, to make the tough decisions, and tough decisions he's making. Layoffs, plant closures, austerity measures. Calhoun is ripping up the rulebook and starting again. But at what cost? Donald Trump is fuming. His face is flushed with anger and his voice carries a sharp edge that cuts through the air. This isn't just any ordinary outburst, it's a full-blown tirade. He sees Boeing's woes as a personal affront. To him, the struggles of this iconic American company are not just business issues, they are a direct challenge to his promises and his vision for the country. He'd staked his reputation on bringing back American manufacturing. It was a cornerstone of his campaign, a promise to revive the heartland and restore the blue-collar jobs that had been lost over the decades. And now, here's Boeing, a flagship American company, shutting down plants and laying off workers. The sight of empty factory floors and workers leaving with their heads hung low is a stark contrast to the bustling activity he had envisioned. It's a direct contradiction of everything he's been saying. The narrative of a manufacturing renaissance is being undermined by the harsh reality of economic downturns and corporate struggles. And Trump, never one to mince words, has let his feelings be known. His speeches are filled with fiery rhetoric, aimed at rallying his base and pointing fingers at those he believes are responsible. "Boeing is killing American jobs!" he roared at a recent rally. His voice echoed through the crowd, resonating with the frustrations of many who feel left behind by the shifting tides of the global economy. "They're sending our jobs to China," he continued, his fist clenched in anger. The crowd responded with cheers and chants, echoing his sentiments and amplifying his message. "They're sending our jobs to China." The accusation is not new, but it carries weight in the current climate. The sight of cargo ships loaded with containers labeled "Made in China" is a stark reminder of the global competition that American workers face. They're destroying the American dream. His words strike a chord with those who have seen their livelihoods disappear and their communities suffer. The American dream, once a beacon of hope and prosperity, seems increasingly out of reach for many. Trump's rhetoric is fiery, as always. His speeches are a mix of anger, frustration, and determination, aimed at galvanizing his supporters and holding those he deems responsible to account. But behind the bluster lies a cold, hard truth. The economic challenges facing the country are complex and multifaceted, and there are no easy solutions. The graphs showing economic downturns and the sight of empty factory floors paint a grim picture. America's manufacturing sector is in trouble. The decline of this once dominant industry has left a void that is difficult to fill. Workers are left searching for jobs, and communities are struggling to adapt to the new economic realities. And Boeing is just the tip of the iceberg. The challenges facing this iconic company are emblematic of broader issues within the manufacturing sector. The sight of large, closed factories and empty assembly lines is a sobering reminder of the work that lies ahead. "I've worked at Boeing for 20 years, says Michael, a machinist facing redundancy. "Over the years I've seen the company go through many changes, but I never thought I'd be the one facing the axe. This job, it's all I know. It's how I provide for my family, my skills, my experience, everything is tied to this place. Now I don't know what we're going to do. The uncertainty is crushing. This job, it's all I know. It's not just a paycheck, it's a part of my identity. Every day I wake up and come here knowing that what I do matters. The precision, the dedication, the long hours. It's all been for something. But now it feels like it's all slipping away. It's how I provide for my family. My kids, they look up to me. They see me as their hero, the one who keeps everything together. But how do I explain to them that their dad might not have a job tomorrow? The fear in their eyes, it breaks my heart. Now I don't know what we're going to do. The bills keep coming, the mortgage, the groceries, the school fees. It's a never-ending cycle, and without this job, I don't know how we'll manage. The sleepless nights, the constant worry, it's overwhelming. Michael's story is not unique. Across the factory floor, you hear the same fears, the same anxieties. Each worker has a story, a family, a life that is now hanging in the balance. The camaraderie we once had is now overshadowed by a shared sense of dread. Across America, thousands of Boeing workers are facing an uncertain future. The ripple effects of these layoffs are felt far and wide. Communities that once thrived on the stability of these jobs are now grappling with the fallout. Local businesses, schools, and services all are impacted. Many have poured their hearts and souls into their jobs, dedicating years, sometimes decades to the company. The pride in their work, the sense of accomplishment, it's all been a driving force. But now that dedication feels like it's been for nothing, only to be cast aside. The sense of betrayal is palpable. How can a company that we've given so much to just turn its back on us? The promises of job security, the assurances of a stable future, all seem like empty words now. Their voices, filled with a mixture of anger, betrayal, and despair, echo through the empty halls of the factory. The conversations, once filled with laughter and camaraderie, are now dominated by uncertainty and fear. The human cost of these decisions is immense. Paint a poignant picture of the human cost of corporate greed. It's a stark reminder that behind every statistic, every layoff, there are real people with real lives. The struggle, the pain, the resilience, it's all part of the story, and it's a story that needs to be told. Boeing's woes are symptomatic of a wider malaise afflicting the global economy. From the auto industry to the tech sector, companies are shedding jobs at an alarming rate. The rise of automation, the shift to a globalized economy, the relentless pursuit of profit, all have conspired to create a perfect storm for workers. The job market is changing at an unprecedented pace, leaving millions of workers feeling anxious and insecure. The Boeing story is a tragedy on many levels. It's a tale that encompasses not just the downfall of a corporate giant, but also the ripple effects that extend far beyond the factory walls. The crisis at Boeing is a multifaceted disaster that touches lives in ways that are both direct and indirect. It's a tragedy for the workers who are losing their jobs. These are individuals who have dedicated years, sometimes decades, to their roles. They are skilled laborers, engineers, and support staff who suddenly find themselves without a livelihood. The emotional and financial toll on these workers is immense as they face an uncertain future. It's a tragedy for the communities that will be devastated by plant closures. These towns and cities have grown around these factories, relying on them as economic lifelines. When a plant shuts down, it's not just the workers who suffer. Local businesses, schools, and public services all feel the impact. The social fabric of these communities is torn apart, leading to increased crime rates, lower property values, and a general sense of despair. And it's a tragedy for America, a nation that once prided itself on its manufacturing might. The decline of Boeing is symbolic of a larger issue, the erosion of American industrial power. For decades, the United States was a global leader in manufacturing, a position that provided millions of jobs and fueled economic growth. The fall of Boeing is a stark reminder of how far we've strayed from that path. The Boeing crisis is a wake-up call. It's a signal that something is fundamentally wrong with the way we do business in this country. Corporate mismanagement, regulatory failures, and a relentless focus on short-term profits have all contributed to this disaster. It's a moment that demands introspection and a reevaluation of our priorities. It's a stark reminder that the American dream is becoming increasingly out of reach for millions of working people. The promise of upward mobility, of a better life through hard work, is slipping away. Families are struggling to make ends meet, burdened by debt and stagnant wages. The gap between the rich and the poor is widening and the middle class is shrinking. It's a sign that the social contract between capital and labor is broken. Workers are no longer seen as valuable assets but as expendable resources. This shift in perspective has led to a decline in job security, benefits, and overall worker satisfaction. Labor unions are fighting an uphill battle to protect their members, but the power dynamics are heavily skewed in favor of corporations. And it's a harbinger of things to come if we don't change course. The Boeing crisis is not an isolated incident. It's part of a broader trend that threatens the very foundation of our economy. If we continue down this path, we risk further destabilizing our society and undermining the principles that have long defined the American way of life. It's time for a change, and that change must start now.